our life. Okay, this is essentially a response video. Sorry, my mustache is kind of long, getting in my mouth. This video is in response to Bushcraft 412. SHTF, bugging out will kill you, will get you killed. And I just wanted to kind of comment on some of the things that this person said. First of all, it sounded like he was trying to say he's done everything under the sun. Guess what? I was a Boy Scout too. I was also a weed blow. I used to backpack. I used to rock climb. Never done mountain climbing though. Now, when it comes to bugging out, there are legitimate reasons to bug out. If they start rounding people up, I don't want to be here. If they start rounding people up, I don't want to be here, but we might be able to use our place here to come back to just to grab some food or something. Maybe not. You don't know. See, that's the whole point of the bug out bag, which happens to be right here next to me. Is
you got a mule to put it on?
Is you have to be prepared to deal with whatever, and you have to be willing and able to leave because of whatever happens. What about the riots in Los Angeles after the Rodney King thing? Where we live, that's not going to happen. At least, if that were to happen here, there'd be a lot of dead people on the road, because
the skunks are going to riot.
Yeah, I can guarantee you that the people in this town will block off the roads and not let people in, and there are going to be people that would try to get in here, and I can tell you right now what we would do to them.
There's not many ways to get into this town either.
Yeah. So after Katrina, there was a town across the bridge from New Orleans, and this town put up barricades, and they had armed citizens out there, and they didn't let anybody in. They knew what was going to happen because they lived right across the bridge from New Orleans. And the rest of us are like, oh, that's so mean and wrong. And, well, we were the ones who were wrong, who said that, because I lived in an apartment complex that wound up getting, it was actually a great place to live until we got the Katrina refugees.
Oh boy, huh?
Yeah. And a lot of places.
Downhill all the way. Huh?
Yeah. And a lot of places turned out to be like that. So I have a feeling the people in this town wouldn't put up with a whole lot.
I don't think they'd take the bullshit.
No. So
the cop would probably shoot them.
Yeah. And
our cops don't mess around.
So bugging out is something you don't take lightly.
Wolf.
There happens to be 2 sleeping bags right here in this bag. I don't know how I managed to stuff both of them into one bag, but
without it going to pop.
Yeah, but it's in there now.
Now the cats think it's their new cat tree.
Now, do we have a tent? No, we don't have a tent. Well, we do. We actually have a tent in the basement, but that would be kind of heavy to carry because it's made out of leather. It's made out of oilskin. But if we had to go,
it would be a good tent.
Yeah, it would be a good tent. It would definitely keep us dry. We also have a tarp, rather large tarp.
I bought the only one they had, the biggest one they had.
And we both have sleeping bags.
Didn't have much choice at the time.
And on my Amazon list, I have a camouflage tarp, which I wish I could actually touch before I decided to buy it, because I don't want it to be some
crap.
Yeah. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you every gun we have, but
That's none of your business.
yeah, would we like to have more than what we have? Of course.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, but with what we have, we would, look, that thing over there and that thing, actually that thing right there will take a deer. That thing right there will take a bear. That thing right there will take a moose.
Well, sure as hell take your ass.
Yeah. That thing right there, if we absolutely had to, it would take a deer. Now, I agree with you. I do agree with you that if everybody bugged out and started living off the land, that the population of animals would decrease rapidly. But not everybody's going to bug out. That's number one. Number two, not everybody's going to actually be able to find something to shoot. And you don't necessarily want to shoot things, because you shoot something and everybody knows where you're at, as they hear the gun.
You almost have to trap.
Yeah, and they do a lot of trapping up here. As for building shelters, there are all sorts of shelters. Come here, Socks. There are all sorts of shelters.
We got 3 walking mouse traps too.
Yeah, they'll catch us mice and rats and chipmunks and squirrels.
They're not picky about it.
Oh, right, Socks?
I think Ron's gonna
Whoops.
be the catcher.
Now I have to find the camera again, because Socks jumped and
Whoops.
pulled the
What
cord.
is it looking at?
Right up there.
Oh.
Let's see. There. So
Thanks, son.
there he is. It was behind the screen, the monitor. Anyway, so
I just love cats. Especially when they jump on your head and wake you up.
another thing that you don't want to do if you bug out is try to hook up with people. You don't want to hook up with too large of a group. You don't want like that idiot Tyler Smith.
He'll survive 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Before
Tyler.
somebody swats him.
Yeah, I'd probably cut him open and barbecue him, or use them for bear to trap bears.
Bear bait.
Yeah, bear bait. I'm not saying it would be easy to be out there. I'm not saying that at all. And like this thing right here, I mean, this wouldn't be on my back 24/7. No way. We would make a camp somewhere, at least a temporary camp, and when we were checking out the area, this sits there. It doesn't sit on my back, it sits there at the camp. Of course, you always have to have somebody at the camp, and you always have the gun in your hand. You never put your gun over here and step over here. You always have it in your hand, because you never know when somebody's going to show up. Somebody could be watching you, and you just don't know it. Look, there are all sorts of shelters that you can build. Look, there's something called scavenging. Scavenging. We can make a pretty decent shelter just by scavenging, plywood and 2x4s and things like that. And we can go out in the woods and we could build a pretty decent shelter. Now, it gets cold up here. Right now it's 25 Fahrenheit, but there's a couple inches or more of snow on the ground. That's why there are 2 sleeping bags in here, not 1. That's why, of course, these gloves wouldn't help a whole lot for very long, because they're not very thick, but they are like that special insulated type of stuff.
Insulate.
Wool socks, thick wool socks. We both need to have like 4 or 5 pair of those. This is another one of those. It's thin, but it's made out of an insulating material, and it's long sleeve. Then
You don't want to be sweating to death either.
true, because that's if you start sweating, that perspiration gets to you, and it's cold out there. Yeah, so that's not a good thing. That's why you dress in layers. And then I have this hoodie over here, and we have other hoodies. Then we have the coat, have the boots. Of course, my wife, we really need to get her a good pair of boots to help support her ankles.
We're not millionaires.
Yeah. Oh,
We haven't won the
monkeys.
lottery yet. This is a repeat. I'll
But
leave it on.
but
For you.
I'm not dumb enough to think it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. I know that. What do we want? Do we want to wind up in a FEMA camp? Or do we want to take the risk and go out into the woods and try to make it? I would rather take the risk of being in the woods. To be honest with you, this is John. To be honest with you, I don't think our town cop or the town council would cooperate much with roundups of people. They might even find a way to make sure people knew what was going on, to give them a chance to get out. And our car happens to be white, which is great for us here in the winter if we had to hide, because we could go find a place and park the car and it would be more difficult to see. Of course, cars aren't very well insulated. You really don't want to try and live out of one of them. You'd be better off building a shelter of some sort outside. Now, this thing about wild edibles making you sick, I don't know about that. I've had plenty of wild edibles and I didn't get sick. So maybe you're not preparing them properly. Maybe you're not
Picking the right one.
picking the right ones. I'm not going to sit here and say that wild edibles are necessarily the best things to eat, the most flavorful things. They're not. That's why they're not cultivated. If they were, celery or cabbage or something, they'd be cultivated. But they're not, that great. But and I see a lot of people who build bug out bags that have shelter and have a sleeping bag and have some form of shelter. I really wouldn't want a regular tent, even though sleeping in a tent the temperature inside, once you get inside, can go up by about 10 degrees, which makes it really comfortable sometimes. I was in Canada and I was backpacking, and oh boy, was it cold at night. And
You know what off, huh?
yeah, but you get inside that tent and it's like, wow, I mean, you actually notice the difference in the temperature change. But I really wouldn't want a tent, because I want to see what's going on. If I hear something, I want to be able to just look to the side or wherever to see what's moving around. If I'm in a tent, I have to unzip it. People are going to hear the zipper, possibly hear it. And then, I have a door. I have one door or two doors. I mean, depending on your tent, you might even have a window or two. You have to get out of your tent to look around. I don't want to have to do that. If we have this tarp, we're under it, we can look to wherever the sound is coming from. Well, like I can tell the direction of sound, but my wife can. So, yeah, I think it's a bad idea for some people to try and bug out. But look, this bug out bag is not. It's not that it's absolutely going to be used. Okay, hopefully it never winds up being used. But in case something does happen, I want us to be ready. There's nothing wrong with that. And we changed things around. Like, this was our holster for our pistol. It's size 4. Got it at Walmart. It's cheap. It worked too. It's for a High Point 40. And, well, we've upgraded, and we have a drop leg holster. But that's what we're going to do, and that's what we do, is we upgrade when we can. We try something out, it works good, we either keep it or find a way to modify it to make it better, or something just doesn't work, and either you just get rid of it or you keep working on it to find a way to make it better and better. It would be nice if something did happen that we could just stay here, but there's no guarantee that we would be able to stay here.
Lay down, Lucky.
You know, let me make a note of the fact that I've lived on 3 different continents. Okay, I've lived in multiple countries, and I have family from multiple countries, and from multiple environments. I mean, you know, my mom was from rural North Carolina, out near the coast. Not on the coast, but close. My dad was from Canada. My granddad was from Ireland. My grandmom was from Scotland. I'm from Spain. My sister's from Korea. My wife's from Illinois. So I'd say we have some experience dealing with different environments. And we know people around here, and we would hopefully be able to hook up with people. There's no guarantee that would happen, but it's a possibility. And another thing is, you make stashes. You stash food, you stash water, you stash medicine, you stash ammo, stash guns, you stash clothing. And you do that in multiple places. You don't do it in just one place. And you make a pretty large area, because you never know where you're going to be when, or, you know, who knows what's going to happen. It's better to be prepared than not be prepared. Just with what's in this over here, if we lost all power just from what's over here and my wife's sleeping bag, we would do just fine staying in here, and our homemade heater. So it would be nice to have more candles for it, but
We can get them next month.
oh, I know, sweetie. I'm just saying.
We're not out.
But
Believe me.
you know, I mean, just with what we have right here in this bug out bag, we would both be able to survive in place. But you don't know what's going to happen, so it's better to be prepared. What do they say in Boy Scouts? Be prepared. So those are some responses to that person. I'll try and provide a link to that person's video.